Huh? Video, photo. Hi everyone, this is Francisco. I'm just here looking at just listening to audio of a like a documentary regarding like the ISS and stuff like that, stuff that's going on in space. However, I wanted to record this video because I happened to look at like a post of the astronauts coming home, and they already did. From space, obviously. Let me see if I can find the actual post. But they were saying, they were talking about how space, people that are in space, like in the ISS, like on the ISS, that it could cause some type of problems to the body. It could have some type of side effects to the human body. So I wrote some notes here. Okay. Just a few little notes on my little thing that I used to write on. And I wrote down documentary regarding the possible health effects of astronauts. So maybe that's what I should have wrote down. But let me see if I can get something about health. Okay, I see one here, but that doesn't count. That doesn't count either. So okay, I'm going to write down astronauts coming home. And possible health effects right there. It says research published in 2022 documented bone loss in 17 ISS astronauts in missions averaging about 5.5 months. It showed that a year after returning, the astronauts on average exhibited 2.1% reduced bone density of the tibia, one of the bones of the lower leg, and 1.3% reduced bone strength. Reduced bone strength. So, too much exposure in space for a human body could technically, in other words, make a human weak. Because right here it says, and 1.3% reduced bone strength. So if you guys could lift a lot here on planet Earth, well, I think everything's lighter in space, but if it wasn't, that would mean that a person will get weaker in space and will be carrying less weight. I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of I'm kind of confused about this, honestly, because I had no idea that I had no idea that this stuff was even possible. You know, I never knew astronauts dealt with, I had no idea astronauts dealt with these type of issues. Honestly, I never did. Which is kind of strange. It's super strange because I thought that there would be some type of technology to counter these effects on the human body, like within the ISS, like, I don't know, doing something else so that these type of effects on the human body won't happen. And I don't know what you people would have to do in order for that to happen. But I'm assuming that you people could make it happen because, I mean, you guys study the planets. You know, you guys study the planets, and you know, you guys know exactly, like you guys know the differences in each and every single planet. You know, when it comes to, you know, I'm talking to professionals here that are in the business, you know, in the ISS, and they study, you know, planets, and everything they do is pretty much like along these lines where there's differences in everything, and understanding those differences for each and every single planet. You know, in this case, you know, like kind of like going on an airplane, and I think everything is pressurized or something like that. I create a fucking vacuum is created in the cylinder, in the area where the passengers are, because there's not a lot of oxygen, clean, breathable oxygen at the altitude that they are in. So therefore, like commercial airlines, they actually create a vacuum within the plane, okay? And it is basically a way to protect people and to keep people alive, okay? Or else people with medical issues would have more complicated issues, okay? Like people that require oxygen to breathe, like, you know, those people that are carrying around those oxygen tanks, like that, something like that, okay? So vacuum in a commercial airliner yeah, so wherever the passengers are, that's where the vacuum is pretty much created within the aircraft, okay? Because at that altitude, at a certain altitude, that oxygen is just terrible, it's bad. And in the space, there's no oxygen whatsoever, there's no air or wind, as far as I'm concerned. as far as I know. I mean, I don't know if there's other gases or things out there. Like, I mean, I don't know what the sky is composed of, but I'm assuming that it's some type of non-breathable gas that will be very toxic to a human. I've heard other people say that there's just no oxygen up there. Hold on. Yeah, I've heard people say that there's no oxygen in space. Okay. So yeah, I mean, that's what I heard. That there's no oxygen in space. I mean, if you guys think about that, that's kind of crazy. And I don't know about gravity. I don't know if gravity exists, like here on Earth, but I don't think it really does. That's why things float around inside the ISS. All right, and I can look up I could look up some images for you guys to look at. ISS items floating around around it, or inside of it, floating around inside of it. So let me see. Hold on. Around inside of it. Yeah, see? So even the people are floating, you know, like if they're like in water or something like that. It's kind of crazy. But there is no water there. There is no water. But they could float and like kind of like swim because the vacuum that it creates. It's freaking weird. I don't even know how to explain it. But yeah, I honestly believed that the ISS would have had something within it to, you know, eliminate some of these health issues or effects that humans have when they spend a lot of time in space. And these astronauts, they were in space for only, I think right there it said 9 months. You know, so, you know, if you guys think about that, that's quite a bit of time, you know, for someone to be up there, but not, you know, like entirely. I mean, 9 months is not really that, you know, that much time. And especially not for astronauts to come back home, you know, where they might potentially have some type of medical issue, some type of side effect caused from, you know, being exposed to, you know, like being exposed to space. Especially since you know, Elon Musk wants to send people to planet Mars. And the last time I heard, them sending like a rocket over there to drop off those rovers like Curiosity, and there's Curiosity, the rover, and there's been a few other what's it called, rovers that people have sent to planet Mars. And I guess when they send one, they said something about the rocket arriving in 7 months. So just imagine if Elon Musk decides to send people to space, I mean to planet Mars, because he wants to colonize planet Mars. Okay? I mean, what kind of potential side effects are these people going to be facing when they return home, if they return home? You know, because they could technically die from like landing on planet Mars and them having some type of medical body side effects for being exposed to space and away from the sun and a bunch of other things. Okay, so once the people arrive on planet Mars, will they be able to survive this space sickness? You know, because I mean, I don't know if it's a sickness, like, you know, like when people get when people are on the ship, they get sick. It's called seasick. So I don't think it's like this, where people actually have a, you know, like a real symptom of experiencing the ocean and it moving, where they end up throwing away, or whatever else happens to people who get seasick, because the boat's constantly rocking back and forth, back and forth. So these people get seasick, seasickness. There you go, seasickness. So that's what they get. They get seasickness. So is it possible that astronauts get the same thing? I really don't know. I don't know how to answer that question. Okay, I'm not a professional. But according to this documentary, this article that I was reading the other day, they said that they're gonna run all kinds of tests on these people that arrive, that come back home. And when they come back home, I guess they have like these workouts and stuff that they want them to do. And I guess like in space, they work out like at least every day or every other day. Okay, so they're constantly staying active, doing something productive. And it's part of their job, part of their training, to stay active and to do something. Okay? Which is kind of tough, because here on planet Earth, I don't even work out. I don't work out every day. You know, and these people are using the treadmill. They're constantly walking, exercising. So it's kind of crazy what these people are doing. Okay, but I don't think that we humans should ever be worried about us arriving from space and possibly getting some type of you know, like a body what's it called, like a body symptom from being exposed to space, I think is just nonsense. And I think it's a problem. I think it's a problem that could easily be fixed. In other words, okay. I think it's preventable. In other words, okay. I think that we humans should have came out with some type of ideas to prevent this from happening to astronauts. And I think it has to be some type of modifications to the, you know, to the vacuum, or maybe more like, what's it called, artificial gravity has to be created. Or, I mean, I don't know if everything in space could float, or if it's only light objects. But I mean, look at this girl right here, this astronaut girl. You know, she weighs like at least 120 pounds or 100 pounds. That's a lot of weight for it to just be floating around. You know, here on Earth, if we grab a 100-pound weight, you know, with gravity, it's going down fast, and you better move your leg before it crushes your toes. You know, that's how fast, you know, a 100-pound object falls to the ground. Very, very fast. You know, especially if it's only like 3 feet off the ground. And you better react quick. You know, and that's how maybe we need to create the gravity, like artificial gravity, inside of the ISS. I don't know if that's possible. I think if it was possible, they would be doing it by now. But I think what my point is, with AI technology, I believe that it could come up with something to help humanity out, so they won't experience these type of issues, body effects, from being exposed in space. You know, and the same is kind of true. The same is kind of true when it comes to what's it called? When it comes to fuck, I forgot what I was going to say. I'm sorry, I'm thinking about a lot of it. But yeah, when it comes to fuck, I forgot what I was going to say, but this idea is you know, that I'm receiving is more like a worry on my part. Okay, it's a concern to me. Not because people are paying me to focus on these things. It's not part of my job. Okay, but it would be really cool if it was part of my job, because this would be a very interesting challenge to combat. You know, and you know, especially when it comes to, you know, further space exploration. You know, I mean, are we really prepared to do more space exploration. Even going and colonizing our own our own moon, right outside our planet. We have to ask ourselves these questions, and I don't know if there's gravity on the moon. I'm pretty sure there is, because I'm pretty sure there is, because in the past, in history, people were saying that people landed on the moon. The first people to land on the moon were Americans. Okay, and there's like a flag and everything. Okay, first country to land on the moon. Obviously, successfully. It says the Soviet, I think I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. The Soviet Union was the first country to successfully land a spacecraft on the moon, both with a hard landing, Luna 2, in 1959, and a soft landing, Luna 9, in 1966. And these astronauts, they just got home. They just came home. Right here it says 2 days ago. According to the news and everything, they just arrived, a few hours ago, basically. Look, and it says, look at explainer. How does space travel affect astronaut health? Stranded NASA astronauts prepare to return home after... Oh, that's part of my notes, okay? Let me click on my camera here. So, according to my notes, I wrote down astronauts planning on heading to the ISS, International Space Station, as a quick flyby had to remain an additional 9 months, but originally planned for a few days. I believe it was like 8 days only, due to technical failures in the spacecraft. So it had to be handed over to the engineers for repairs before arriving back to planet Earth for them. Okay, before they could arrive back on Earth, they had to make those necessary fixes on the spaceship, because these are professional people conducting a very professional organization, and the last thing they want to do is put people's lives in danger. Okay, I wrote down a hashtag. I wrote down safety first. Hashtag safety first. Hashtag space. Hashtag ISS. And that was all of my notes. Alright. Not a lot of notes. Not a lot of notes. Just some notes. And this is information that I gathered as I've been studying as I've been studying this, and it's not something that I'm really studying, honestly. I just happened to run into the article. That's all that happened with me. Okay, like I just noticed that that these people were returning back home. So I was like, wow, this is really cool. This is really cool, like news, especially for them because they were stranded. They were basically stuck out there. It's like, driving your vehicle, kind of, and it breaking down on you, like in the middle of the road, with no one around you to help you. I mean, the flight was delayed. The spacecraft was delayed for 9 months, basically, practically, for those repairs to be made, and for them to approve them entering that spaceship once again and coming back home. So they sent the spaceship back to Earth with no one in it. So it landed safely, luckily, and when they retrieved it, they fixed it. The last thing that they wanted to do was to send the astronauts in the spaceship and jeopardizing their lives, putting their lives, in danger. So yeah, they had to wait 9 months. I mean, that's a long time. And Elon Musk owns this company, SpaceX. So he's talking about robots, humanoid robots. Like, why aren't these robots working on these machines? It's like a robot working on a car. That's all it really comes down to. So there has to be a plan for people to cause these robots to do the work for us, the maintenance, everything. I mean, imagine if there was a bigger problem, or if some of these astronauts were somehow wounded. What if someone got wounded and they needed to return back to planet Earth or something like that? I mean, these are things that are some things that are unexpected and unforeseen, obviously, but I think the repair time should be sooner than that. And that's looking at it from the repairs. That's way too long. That's almost like a year to repair a spaceship. Okay, that's a long time. And not just that, but I'm not even focusing on that. I'm focusing on, I'm pretty much worried about their health. Right here it says something about effects. And yeah, I was reading like a post. Look at top stories. So let me just click on this real quick. Maybe I could see. Maybe it will show more. Okay, so oh, look at it right here. Their extended stay could have health consequences. I mean, like, respectfully, like, what kind of shit is this? This, whatever is causing this, for each and every single astronaut, these space human effects are happening to everyone. It's out of our control as far as I understand it. And it shouldn't be. This problem should be corrected. And I think there is a solution if you people really apply your minds to it. I'm talking about upgrading the ISS for this type of stuff not to happen. Especially if you guys plan on sending a new or creating a new space station for the future. Like a better one. I mean, the ISS is pretty old. There has been a lot of attachments to it. But I think that I don't think these type of posts and articles that people are writing should even be like a worry and or a concern to civilized people. I mean, this right here is like almost like scary to ever want to go to space. And it kind of just shows that we're not where we want to really be when it comes to space exploration, and dominating the space industry like in no other time in history. Okay? I think we have to be more hungrier in correcting these issues. And if you guys really think about it, if I really get in, if I start thinking deeply, I started thinking about a submarine. Okay, and there's certain things that a submarine has I'm gonna turn off this Xbox real quick. I lost interest in my game already. But anyway, these submarines, they have special technology so that they could, so that the vessel could withstand a lot of pressure. So if we look at it from space, there isn't a lot of pressure. As a matter of fact, if we really study this on a professional, scientific type of way, we can look at like a planet Earth crust or core. Yeah, the core. But I'm trying to look for specific images. Okay, so just kind of bear with me here. Okay, I think I found an image that I could kind of use. I think this one right here is better. Okay, so we have this is looking into the Earth's like layers inside of it. Okay, but I'm only bringing this image up for us to all look at and to examine, because right now we're looking at a submarine. Okay, so I want you guys to look at this other image that I'm about to pull up right now. I want you guys to look at this image and imagine that submarine at the lowest part of this this water level. Okay, there's a lot of pressure down there, and I think as You know, obviously the lower humans go in water, it gets super like there's a lot of pressure, obviously, and then on the ground on land, I think it's kind of like normal. I think for like an airplane, maybe the air pressure is not as intense. So when we look at it from the perspective of outer space, okay, maybe there's no pressure whatsoever. So the closer you get to planet Earth, the more pressure that is created. The further you are separated from the planet, the less pressure there is. That's what I'm theorizing, that the pressure is. So, in other words, when we look at the ISS, when we look at the ISS in space, maybe there's not a lot of pressure, so it's like the opposite. So we could also interpret this information like the opposite happens. There's a lot of pressure here on Earth, and there's no pressure on in space. But maybe if water was like if the ISS was like a fish tank and it was able to hold that much liquid, would the pressure of the water be the same in space or not? Without creating like artificial gravity, the water would just be like if it behaves the same like on planet Earth, then technically you guys could use water to prevent some of these astronauts from getting sick. So what would that mean? It would mean astronauts taking a lot of baths. Okay, like fully submerged in water. And just relaxing in water. Even if they have like a jumpsuit where the water won't affect them, that would be the best way, I think, that this will work. Just for a few hours every day. And this bath is not for people to take an actual bath. This will be like therapy for the water to add pressure on the human body in space without any electrical means. So I hope you guys are understanding this. It's like, someone going into a container filled with water in space, and the water pressure healing and fueling the body up. Doing like healing the body where it's preventing some of these like medical side effects, like these side effects that being exposed to space could cause to the human body. Okay, so just imagine that. I don't know if water is the solution or the answer, but I think the best brain for the operation will be AI technology to figure out a solution, to these type of problems. Because we're talking about smart people that know a lot about space and the stars and the galaxies and solar flares and asteroids and a bunch of other things that are happening in space. Okay? And for them to come from space with possible side effects, that sounds very dangerous. That sounds like almost like a suicide mission. That's not, to me, it's not very professional. In other words, I think that we humans should figure out a way to eliminate these concerns once and forever. And I think that the best tool to use right now will be AI technology. Okay, I think I made that very clear. So it's not people trying to figure out a solution. I'm talking about using the computer, since it knows everything, to figure out some possible solutions, and not just come up with solutions, but provide us with a blueprint on how to build a next spaceship, or to build a container that could be added to the ISS for astronauts to go into to get physical therapy. Okay, and it'll be like a special section to just relax, and for technology to do whatever it needs to do to keep human bodies in space healthy and strong. So however that looks like, that's the way that I could picture it. Because even though it may be very, very exciting for people who study space, for these astronauts to come back home and for them to be home successfully and safely, praise God for that. Nothing happened. They got home safely. And that's a huge praise report within itself. Okay, but right now they're still examining them, performing tests on them, and I don't know the worst case scenario or possibility. I don't know the worst thing that could happen to these astronauts. I do not know. Will a prolonged stay in space, and returning back to Earth, cause, like, let's say, muscle, like paralyzation? Will some of these astronauts come back home and become paralyzed? Due to the prolonged exposure of being out in outer space without a lot of protection from the solar radiation and other radiation that they were discussing in the article. The stuff they wrote down. They're talking about radiation and a bunch of other things. Okay, so I mean, this stuff is very complex. But I'm watching this other one, and in this one, they were talking about something about they mentioned something about they mentioned something about the ISS or the rocket, because they send people to space. They mentioned something about autonomous flight, where the spaceship will actually maneuver itself in space, similar to a self-driving vehicle here on planet Earth, which is super amazing. Honestly, it's super amazing stuff that's happening. Okay, so there's a lot of things to look into, to investigate when it comes to space exploration. But to me, this is very sad that astronauts have to deal with this type of problem. And I think that people should be spending more time and energy figuring out a way to prevent this stuff from happening. Here we are, the rocket industry is spending all kinds of money on rocket fuel. Let's type in cost of rocket fuel per year. Let's just write that for now. It says while it's difficult to give an exact cost of rocket fuel per year, as it's a variable based on many factors. A Falcon 9 launch, for example, costs around $200,000 through $300,000 in propellant alone, while the entire launch can cost upwards of $62 million. And then it says, oh my god, okay, there's a lot more to read, but I'll read it real quick. Here's a more detailed breakdown. Propelling costs. A Falcon 9 launch uses approximately $200,000 through $300,000 worth of propellant. SpaceX Starship, which uses methane, is estimated to have propelling costs around $500,000 per launch. LOX and LH2 propellant costs NASA around $1.65 per gallon for a different type of propellant. Okay, pretty much what we humans spend on a vehicle, roughly a few dollars. Okay, but that's just for the LOX and LH2 propellant costs. Okay, we're not talking about methane and other propellants or whatever. It says launch costs. A Falcon 9 launch can cost around $62 million. Larger rockets like Falcon Heavy can cost upwards of $90 million. NASA Space Launch System (SLS) is estimated to cost over $2 billion per launch. Factors affecting cost. Rocket type. Different rockets use different types of quantities of fuel, impacting the cost. Launch location. The location of the launch pad can affect costs. Payload. The weight and type of payload being launched also influence costs. Reusability. Reusable rockets like Falcon 9 can significantly reduce launch costs over time. Fuel type. Methane is a cheaper fuel option compared to kerosene, which can lower fuel costs. Examples: Space's Ariane 5 rocket, a large European rocket, has propellant costs of almost 5 million dollars. $5 million. Not 500. But still, that's a lot of money. 500 million. The Falcon 9 burns somewhere around 200k through 300k. That means 1,000 in propellant. The Falcon 9 puts about 16,000 kg kilograms, I don't know what kg stands for, into orbit. So that's about $20 a kg per kg. So 20 times 16,000 is roughly what they spend on this, which is simple math. That's 320,000 $320,000. Okay, it says Starship burns cheaper methane fuel, and propellant cost is estimated at about 500,000 launch when purchased in volume. Total payload early on is probably going to be closer to 100T than 150T. So that would be $5 per kilogram, or whatever kg stands for. Okay, so yeah, you guys heard the numbers. We're talking big numbers here when it comes to how much money is put into space exploration and a bunch of other scientific studies. Okay, so why not look into preventing some of these side effects from being exposed in space for a prolonged period of time? If someone wants to go out to space for 5 years, 2.5 years out and 2.5 years in, that's people leaving planet Earth for 2.5 years and then just looping around and coming back and that would take 5 years. Imagine someone spending 5 years out there in a rocket and returning back home. What kind of side effects are we going to be talking about here? Does anyone even know the answers to these questions? That's why I think AI technology will be the best way of discovering more information and for it to dig deeper in this in this industry, in perfecting people to continue to explore space without having any side effects. So that would be super cool. That would be very nice for everyone. Especially for future generations to come. I mean, think about it. People, kids that want to become astronauts, like, are they eventually going to get sick from being exposed to space for too long, and them having to possibly quit their career because of a medical issue? Like, will these medical issues, if any, are found, could it prevent these astronauts that returned home from ever going back to space? So these are the two astronauts that returned back from space, and I think that there was a few others that might have returned. I think it was like them two plus an additional 8 people that returned back to planet Earth. And since freaking, there's a lot of talk about space exploration and SpaceX. Is this going to mess it all up for humanity? These type of problems. For future space exploration. Or could we really come up with a solution so people won't have to live in fear of returning back home from space and possibly losing their life or getting so sick beyond recovery? I mean, I don't know the extent of these side effects. Okay, I do not know the extent of them. I don't know the seriousness of them. Like, I don't know if these are just like minor little checkups that people will eventually recover from, or if it could really mean something serious. So, in other words, like, almost like saying that these people are really putting their lives in jeopardy, in danger. Like, they're putting their lives on the line. And we know that they are, either way. There's been a lot of rockets that exploded in history, and the astronauts never made it to space. Or back, they never made it back. Some people never made it back. Some people go into the re-entry capsules, before they splash down on planet Earth. Not on planet Earth, before they splash down on the water, on the ocean. Okay? And the ocean helps the vessel to cool down and a bunch of other things because it gets so hot. But, I don't know if you guys have ever seen that. But I could actually look for this for you guys to see it. This, like an image. Re-entry capsule. That's what it's called. So let me just look into this. Let me pull up some images here for you guys to see. So yeah, this is how it looks like. It gets so hot that the astronauts could actually see flames around the re-entry capsule, and it gets super hot. Okay, thousands of degrees in Fahrenheit. See, and this is where they when they pick up these capsules from the ocean, right here. So yeah, this stuff is super intense, super intense. And some people, even when it comes to re-entry, some people don't make it. Back home. Some of these vessels most likely have broken up in mid-flight with Earth's gravity, and or due to poor engineering. I mean, there's a lot of things to consider. I don't really know. I don't know. I haven't even looked it up if that ever happened or not. But I'm assuming that it has happened. Okay. So what do we need to do to get AI technology to look into these matters? And since Elon Musk created PayPal or whatever it was, and he sold it for a lot of money, I mean, he's already in the computer industry, so he knows how to code. So, and he's creating these robots, and he has a mega factory, all these computerized vehicles with autonomous driving capabilities. So all he has to do is come up with some type of computer script for AI technology to study, and it could study how to prevent these side effects on the human body when it comes to humans spending a little bit of months in space and returning back to Earth. So maybe the answer is so simple, but we just don't know about it. Maybe AI technology could really come up with a solution that will help us keep humanity longer, to keep humans longer in space without any health complications, without any human body side effects from the exposure of the sun's radiation. And they were talking about the Earth's mantle, or the protective ozone layer. So the planet has an ozone layer, and the ISS is actually outside of this ozone layer, from what I understand it. Okay, so look at this right here. There's actually like a map. Right here it says airplanes, atmosphere, ozone layer, stratosphere. There's the stratosphere, and then it looks like this may be the ISS or some type of satellites. And then there's the mesosphere, and then there's the thermosphere, and then there's the exosphere at 10,000 km. The atmosphere is 20 km. So the next question will be, at what level is the ISS at? See, there's a stratosphere, ozone layer, stratosphere, mesosphere, and the mesosphere, whatever, I don't know how to pronounce this word, okay? But whatever this word is, mesosphere, is the same layer, that people will notice the aurora lights and occasionally some meteorite showers. And then there's the Kármán line, and then right above that is a satellite of some sort, and then there's the thermosphere, and right above that there's the exobase, and then right above the exobase there's a rocket with a human in it, and then right above that there's the exosphere. Now my laptop is complaining because the energy is running low on it. It wants to be charged. It wants to be fed. Food, feed me energy. Feed me energy, please. So, let's type in what layer, when it comes to outer space, is the ISS located? Question mark. Well, right here it says 20 years of orbiting Earth from the space station. Extraordinary view from outer space. Right here it says line of sight to sun. Stage on ISS. Atmosphere. So I don't really know what that means, but maybe this will help us here. Also, it looks like it's right above the aurora lights. So right here it says troposphere. That's where we are. And then a commercial airline, jet airline, is right above the troposphere, which is 7 miles. When it goes to 31 miles, it goes to the stratosphere. 50 miles above that, there's the mesosphere. And right underneath that, it says, in between the mesosphere and stratosphere, there's meteors, probably like meteor showers or something, or meteors passing by, like in space somewhere. And then at 62 miles, there's the Kármán line, and 200 miles from planet Earth is the International Space Station, according to this graph here, this image. And then there's the space shuttle, and then there's the aurora lights, like right next to it. At 440 miles, there's the thermosphere. At 500 miles,
there's a satellite called Sudmi NPP satellite. SUOMI NPP satellites. And then at 800 miles, there's the Jason 3 satellites at 800 miles away from planet Earth. Or from sea level. I don't know how they measure feet from planet Earth. I don't know if it's from land or below sea level. I don't know where they begin measuring. It's probably sea level, above sea level, is where they probably begin measuring miles. There's 6,200 miles, and then there's that. For that is the exosphere. Okay, so there's a lot of different things that are happening out there in space. So I mean, where is that? Oh, it's right here. Sorry, I don't know why I clicked out of it. I just wanted to look at some other images, but I probably shouldn't, just for the sake of the video, for you guys to study further just by looking at it. And I'm trying to focus it. There it is. And look how beautiful that looks. This down here almost looks like heaven. With the clouds and the mountains. Like, this is beautiful planet Earth. This is home. And then this out here is really like stuff that we don't even understand that well. Well, some people don't. I know I don't. That's why I love AI technology, because a lot of these spaceships and technology, when it comes to technology, a lot of it is going in the direction of autonomous driving, autonomous flight. The next big thing is going to be the AI robots. They're going to be autonomous. They're going to be able to think and reason like humans, and their whole objective is going to be to work, to fix roads, to fix spaceships, to build stuff in space, because they could be out there without worrying about oxygen, So we humans could literally use computers to work for us, not the other way around. Okay, so this is very important for you guys to understand right now, because it's going to change, the way that we think. It's going to dictate the way that we think. But anyway, so yeah, I mean, what do you guys think about this stuff? I mean, I don't think that a lot of people are raising any type of concerns over this, when I think that there should be some type of concerns when it comes to this. And why is my computer super slow right now? I mean, I don't really know why, but hopefully it doesn't affect the actual video when I upload it on YouTube. It's like the computer is overloaded or something with my wisdom and knowledge. Like, it just can't contain it. It gets all slow and shit. But I don't really know. But maybe this stuff here is like, entirely out of our hands and out of our power to do something about, these human side effects. But it's my prayer that with AI technology we will be able to figure out a solution to these problems, because just for me personally, it's unacceptable. Especially if it could be prevented. If it could be prevented, then it's super, unnecessary for it not to be corrected. And if we're not correcting that right now, it really concerns me, and it should concern a lot of astronauts that are going to be traveling to the ISS or whatever the case may be. Because all it takes is for another one of these technical issues, type of issues that could result in another crew staying in space for an additional 9 months. And that's not cool, especially if it's not, if it's dangerous for astronauts to stay out there that long, then yeah, it should be a concern to all of us. I think we should be able to respond. We should be able to respond sooner. And if we could cut that time in half, then that would be more better and more like logical. So people need to be challenged to make these corrections for people not to get stuck out there in space for a long duration of time, where it could potentially cause health effects. Okay, so if it's causing health effects or whatever effects, then it should concern everyone, that are in this business. So yeah, that's why I took the time to record this video. Not to waste anyone's time, not to waste my time. Okay? But just to pass this down to people who may concern. Because these are the explorers of the 20th century. Pretty much planet Earth has been explored, so much so that there's fucking millions of videos of planet Earth, of wild animals, the ocean, the deserts, the animals underground, the animals under the ocean, oceanic water animals and fish, we understand where the snow is, where the snow isn't. We understand a lot of stuff. You know, and I'm talking about as a human race. But we don't really have a lot of stuff from space, a lot of videos. There is some, these astronauts. They're taking photos out there, inside of the ISS, and they're keeping everything professional. And they are professional at what they do. But I think we could have more. We should have more images and stuff like that. Besides robots, there's a lot of robots, but I mean, even if we could create more robots, that would be great as well. More robots for more photos, like the Curiosity rover. If we could do something like that, that would be super cool. The more images that can be flooded out there for people to look at will be super cool. Because it's all about changing lives at the end of the day. And if we can captivate someone's mind on space, I think that it'll be a beautiful thing. I think it is a beautiful thing for someone to get lost in space and to to build some type of emotional connection to what's out there, right outside of planet Earth, and for them to want to be involved and maybe even seek a career in this industry. So obviously the more images that get flooded on the news and through the internet and through cell phones and technology, the more people will lose focus on the negative and focus on the positive. And that's the way I can see the world. People, educated people, wanting to make a difference, wanting to help others. Not fucking scandalous people that are trying to fuck each other over and kill each other and destroy each other. Did I already say that? Fucking terrorists. There's a lot of terrorists everywhere. Fucking weirdos. That's the last thing we want. We want educated people, smart people that are using their brains to solve problems, not creating them. See, so, oh shit, what the fuck? There's something on my hair. So there's a huge difference. I don't know if you guys seen a little bug, mosquito around here, but I felt something in my hair right now. I gotta really go. I'm gonna try to find this mosquito or bug or whatever the fuck is on me, and I'm going to kill it. Anyways, sorry to end this video so shortly, but there's something in my room that's bothering me, and that's exactly why I have this spray right here. It's dish soap with water, and as soon as I spray these fucking flies, like in 30 seconds they're dead, or less than 30 seconds. Seriously, this thing works. And at the end of the day, I could put it on my hands. All it is like hand sanitizer. Like hand sanitizer. That's all it really comes down to. But anyway, peace out, everyone. And good luck. Yeah, I'm praying for you guys. I really honestly do not know how to troubleshoot this problem. But like I said, it's my prayer and my hope that AI technology figures out a solution for humanity. And just with that, I'm out. I'm in my rocket and heading to Mars one day.